kind of came up under Coach Woody. So we got a challenge, and our guys are excited, and it's just a great opportunity to be back at home and have a chance to try to redeem ourselves from the performance last week.
This week in Army football, got a lot going on here the next hour. Special guests coming up in just a moment. Your questions a little bit later on. And Corey, back with us on the wireless microphone. A lot of good questions. I know we're on Facebook Live, so you can drop them in the comments section. Also YouTube Live. A lot of good questions tonight.
We might get some from the Troy fans. They flew up here today, so they came a day early.
And they're bringing a lot of people.
They're probably listening to us, so
they probably are. Yeah. So
we won't give away anything.
No, not giving away anything. Welcome back, Corey.
Hey guys. Thanks so much. Good to see you, Coach.
You too.
But yeah, to reiterate what Rich said, if you guys have questions, Facebook and YouTube, Coach is dying to answer them. So please drop them in the comments so we can get them answered.
And there's no question that is, Coach will answer anything. He'll answer about post-game food. He'll answer about anything. And a reminder, we'll talk about questions. A reminder, all watching, sign up for our new addition to This Week in Army Football. Coach, you like the Trivia Challenge.
I do.
The brainchild of Ryan Panny, our executive producer, doing a great job. Sign up, scan the QR code on your screen right now to enter your chance to win 4 tickets to Army against Coastal Carolina on November 18th, Senior Day at noon at Michie Stadium. Each question, a new QR code will appear. As a reminder, please scan the code each time so your answers can be recorded properly. Before we get to our first question tonight, though, last week's winner, Glenn Buonaducci. He's our winner from last week.
Nice job,
congratulations, Glenn. You'll get the tickets. Now we start a new show, a new set of questions. So now's your chance. Test your Army football knowledge. Scan that QR code to enter this week's answers. The fastest answer will win. Here is question 1 for today's episode. Army plays its games at Michie Stadium on Blake Field, sewn very nicely into the turf. What year was the field renamed to Blake Field in honor of the legendary Army football coach Earl Red Blake, the only Army football coach with more wins than Jeff Monken?
I don't know that answer. What year?
I remember watching the game when it was on, or seeing highlights of when it was done. I'm torn between a couple of years. Oh, yeah, I had it.
Did you have it?
I did. And I would tell you if I didn't. I would tell you if I didn't.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
So. Yeah, what year was the field named for Earl Red Blake? So QR code, get in there, get the answer. Next up, our special guest, class of 2000, former Army football player, fullback, someone who's worked very closely with your program the last several years since being back at West Point, and that is Major retired Walt Rittger.
Ready for Walt. He's been so good to our team back here as a teacher, as a professor, and as an officer representative for the football team. He's helped us in recruiting. He's helped our guys with their classwork, tutoring. Just been a mentor for our older guys getting ready to go into the Army. So I'm excited to have Walt here with us.
As someone who loves Army football.
He certainly does.
Quite simply. So we'll get to Walt Rittger coming up in just a moment here on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club at West Point, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
At the United States Military Academy, you're on the team from day one.
A team where people are the #1 priority and winning matters.
A team of scholars, athletes, and leaders, each striving to become all that they can be.
Are you ready to join our team?
West Point, where leaders are made.
We feel very good. The mindset's good. Right now everyone's super dialed in and just amped to play. At the same time, we have a new opportunity. We're at home again, and we're playing a good team. So I think it'll be a good way to bounce back.
Really excited to play such a running back as himself. I know we've played really good running backs in the past, but it's just gonna be an exciting stage to be on to play against a running back.
Don't get too down. Obviously, learn from our mistakes and keep working hard. I mean, we practice hard every day, and nobody's going to lose that effort.
We're really resilient. I think Coach said it best. We got our backs against the wall, and we're just trying to fight and, just be the best we can be every week, and that's what we're going to do.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
2 minutes till we're back. 2 minutes.
USAA? Yeah. They have awesome rates on coverage for our car, home, and stuff. She has a lot of stuff.
Dad.
A lot of cool stuff, honey. But USAA also has banking, credit cards, and loans. Plus advice and other perks.
Only for emergencies. Thanks, Mom.
And it's all in one spot. So we know she's all set because we've got USAA.
USAA, more than you might think, for the military community and their families.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall.
He'll take the chicken fingers.
But with the money you earn from your PenFed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
1 minute till we're back. 1 minute. .30 seconds till we're back. 30. .15. Coach Rich, your mics are coming on. Stand by. Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
Army fans, Eisenhower Hall Theater at West Point is back with a full season of entertainment. Enjoy Broadway musicals, plays, family-friendly shows for the little ones, and live concerts. iCall.com. Save up to 20% off with a season subscription. Get your tickets now, iCall.com. That's iCall.com. Back on This Week in Army Football, getting set for Army and Troy. A 3:30 kick time on Saturday. Remember that for all our fans that are just used to noon kick times for Army football home games. 3:30 at Mikey Stadium, airtime across the Army Sports Network at 1:30 with the Army Football Tailgate Show. Time now for our special guest, someone who has been a big part of the Army football program the last 9 seasons. Former Army football player, West Point class of 2000, Major retired Walt Rittger. Walt, welcome to This Week in Army Football.
Thanks, Rich. It's great to be here.
Long time coming, and I know Zach Peterson, who is actually a producer as well. Jeff, you like that? We actually have titles for people helping with the show.
I like that.
Zach Peterson said, hey, you got to get Walt on, and here you are. First of all, thank you for spending some time. And Jeff was talking about it. It's obvious how much Army football means to you. What does it mean to be part of the program the way you are?
It really means everything. I mean, I've been back here since 15 on this rotation now and working with the team, and anything the team needs, I'm there. Recruiting, he mentioned recruiting, I was at study hall last night. Yep. I had guys stopping by my office this morning looking for help with chemistry, anything the team needs. I've always said I wanted to come back here since the time I graduated. I've been back here, and even when I go to recruiting lunches or whatever, I just want to give back. I've gotten so much from the brotherhood. I'm always just want to give back wherever I can.
Jeff, he's a guy that, hey, you wish you had 20 of them, I'm sure, right?
The thing about this program that I think has it's just sustained through the decades, that players that play here, they feel this sense of connection, this sense of brotherhood with the guys in the program, and it transcends just that locker room they're a part of. It's the next generation of players. It's the generation of players before them, and I think our players just feel compelled to serve this program even after they're done. And as challenging as West Point can be, as challenging as the academics are, the professional standards, all the things that go with it, there's something about being a part of this football program that just draws our guys back, and they want to remain connected. So Walt's a great example of that.
So Walt, take me back to you're in high school, the decision to attend West Point.
Really, it was pretty simple. I didn't know much about the academy at the time, but I knew I wanted to play at the time what was 1A football. I got recruited by a bunch of 1AA schools, the Lehighs, the Lafayettes, growing up in New Jersey. This was really the only 1A school that recruited me, and I was like, well, I don't know much about it, but I'm going to go there and see what it's about. And so 20 years later,
here you are.
Finished the career, and I'm here today.
Yep.
So highlights from your time at West Point. Obviously, your year spanning from 1996 to 1999.
I always talk about the football highlights. One of the greatest games, I tell people this day, one of the greatest games I think I've ever watched in person is the 96 Air Force game here on a Thursday evening under the lights. Something about that game. To one of our rivals, both really great teams that year. I think Air Force even came in favored in that game, and to come out with that victory, I'd never seen Michie Stadium quite like that. I mean, there's been a lot of games I've watched at Michie Stadium, but that one was something special for sure.
And Jeff, you go back to that 96 Air Force game, when we're on the radio and, we're talking about history, it seemed like we were forever pointing to that 96 Air Force game when making comparisons to, great Army teams that then knocked off Air Force. And you've made it somewhat of a regular occurrence now.
Well, they still are a tough team to beat. The academies are. Those games are battles every year, and it's a challenge. But we've been fortunate to come out on top more times than not here recently, and I hope the trend will continue. So
let's hope so.
It'll be a great challenge. We got that one coming up in a few weeks. Obviously, other fish to fry right now, but those are always big games.
Always
and
big.
Memorable victories. I mean, it's just Walt's talking about that. That's I don't know, close to 30 years ago, but it just gets indelled in your mind when you win a big game like that.
I'll tell you, and I know there weren't a lot of people at this game for obvious reasons. That 2020 Air Force game,
yep.
one of the great moments.
Epic battle.
That fourth quarter was
for sure. Yep. Great drive.
Think about it from time to and Jabari Moore starting it off with the pick.
Yeah.
Right? And just. We could talk an hour about that game. So, Walt, take me through your time in the Army, and like you said, 2015. What brought you back here to West Point?
I graduated in 2000, as you mentioned. I branched field artillery, was a field artillery officer. I knew when I graduated I wanted to come back here and teach. Chemistry department reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to come back and teach chemistry? I was a chemistry major while I was here. I was like, I don't know that I really want to teach chemistry, but I wanted to come back. And so that was my road back. And so 2004-05, I decided to come back. I got accepted, went to grad school from 7 to 9 to get my master's. I came back in 2009, taught here for 3 years to 12. I left for 3 years and was fortunate enough to come back in 15, and I stayed here until I retired.
And you're here forever now, right?
for a while.
That's great. That's great to hear. And Jeff, I'm sure all the things that Walt does for your program, you hope he's not gone anytime soon.
Oh, I'm glad he's here, and I think Walt's here to stick around and be a part of this community and be a part of this great school and this program, and we're proud to have him here. And as Walt said, when he came back because he wanted to serve this school, wanted to serve this program, and give back. And there's something that's satisfying about that. When you've got a place that you love and you feel connected to, and you can be a part of that every day, it's pretty special.
Well, Walt, we appreciate you coming by, spending some time here on the show. Thank you for all you've done in the Army, for the Army football team, and things you're doing at West Point. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Major retired Walt Rittger, class of 2000, joining us here on This Week in Army Football. Now, before we go, now on to question 2 of today's trivia challenge.
Let's have it, Rich.
Walt played with the Army football team in 1999. In 1999, who was his head coach? Scan the QR code below to submit your answer. That's a layup.
That's a softball.
Someone who, I will tell you what about this person, not that it's a hint or whatever. Till now, we hear from people, when he coached at a high level after leaving West Point, he would make sure on his Saturdays, part of his prep and everything, he would either listen or watch part of an Army football game.
Yes.
And he coached at a really high level.
Yep.
After leaving here. That's the one hint. We would hear that he had to either listen on the radio or watch part of the game.
Yep.
One of the good people that have been around here at West Point, who was Walt Rittger's coach with Army in 1999. When we come back, your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken right here on This Week in Army Football, live at the Cadet First Class Club right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Oh, we were thrilled to have him back out there. I love that kid, and I'm really pleased he's healthy enough now that he can play. He's such a dynamic player, and I think the more he plays, the more confidence he's going to gain on that knee, and hopefully he'll be even more productive.
It was a great feeling for a lot of people that contributed to my rehab. Really just excited to get in the end zone and celebrate with my teammates.
When pain wants to keep you on the sidelines, know you have options to keep you doing what you love. As one of the world's leading medical technology companies, Stryker offers innovative foot and ankle products that help you get back in the game and on your feet. Stryker and Army West Point Athletics have joined forces to help you learn more about foot and ankle pain and provide you resources so you can find a specialist in your area. Visit Stryker.com/WestPoint to learn more.
Castellanos throws on the run, intercepted down the right side, and it was thrown right to Quindraylon Hammonds coming near side, 35-yard line, out to the 40, 45 midfield, and then run out of bounds at the Boston College 43-yard line. So the Black Knights force the first turnover of the ball game and end up in plus territory. Quindraylon Hammonds, the Army senior safety, comes up with the pick, and it's Army football.
Minutes till we're back. 2 minutes.
So yeah, USAA, they always have my back.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah. My neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
One minute till we're back. 1 minute. $30 seconds, so we're back. 30. Coach Rittger, Mike's coming on. Stand by.
I'm going to give a shout out to Mark Reagan.
Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
And welcome back to This Week in Army Football, brought to you by West Point Family and MWR. FMWR offers horse sporting, golfing, skiing, catering, camping, many more activities and programs. Visit westpoint.armymwr.com for more information. Homecoming coming up on Saturday. Army against Troy, 3:30 kick time from Mikey Stadium. A lot of folks back for homecoming weekend, Jeff, and we spot someone who is a big part of the Army Athletic Department for several years. That's Colonel retired Mark Ray.
One of my favorites.
We see him in the back.
Yep.
Former head OR for the Army football team. I don't think Colonel Ray is
one of my all-time favorites.
Gotten our attention that we've called him out, but we welcome him back to This Week in Army Football. And Corey, time now for questions for Jeff Monken. We got the first one in queue.
Jerry is back, and I could not be happier. So he's going to start us off.
Coach, what kind? Do they run the ball more or throw it?
So Jerry, they got a fairly balanced attack, but they have the nation's leading rusher. So they've been trying to run the football very effectively. Running back's a really good player, over 800 yards, I think, already.
Big game last week,
that's
right? 245.
Oh my gosh, he's a really talented player. But they got a veteran quarterback with some really good receivers, and so a very balanced attack, which makes them challenging to defend. Frankly, you got to defend the entire field, and the skill of their receivers and the ability of that quarterback to get it to them. Really, it opens up a lot of things for that young man who's running for all those yards for him.
Thanks for the question, Jerry. And it seems so much, Jeff, when we talk about games, it's a tale of two halves, right? Last week, first half, BC gets out to the lead. You come back in the second half. Last year's game against Troy, 10-0 at halftime, ends up 10-9. How would you
9-0?
How 9-0 and turns out to 10-9?
Yeah.
How would you characterize that game?
Agonizing. The opening drive, we have it down inside the 5-yard line, and we fumble it. We create a fumble down on their end of the field, so we got it in good scoring or good territory, and not scoring territory yet, not in the red zone, but I mean, we're down there, I don't know, what was it, the 35-yard line or so. We fumbled the very next play. We had it in scoring position, I think 3 times, and came away with 9 points. We missed an extra point, got a field goal there late in the half, and I just really disappointed with our ability to finish right there. But give Troy credit. They've got a really good football team, and all last year, their entire season, they won those close games like that. They had 2 losses, one to Appalachian State, and they would have won that one. Appalachian State hit a Hail Mary on the last play of the game. I mean, they had a really, really good football team, and that's continued. Coach Summerall's done a great job. He's brought in some other guys from outside the program through the transfer portal, and they haven't missed a beat. They got a really, really good football team. So the 10-9 loss was tough. Obviously, that doesn't have anything to do with this year's game. There's 2 different football teams out there, but we got to finish, and we got to finish drives on offense. We got to find a way to stop them on defense and critical downs, and hopefully we'll do that on Saturday.
Army in Troy, 3:30 Saturday afternoon at Mikey Stadium. Next question for Coach Monken.
All right, Coach, this one is from Anthony John. It kind of goes off of Jerry's question with Troy being a rush offense primarily. He said, what are the plans to stifle Troy's running game this week?
So we can't sit there and be sitting ducks all day and stay in the same front, the same defense. We're going to have to mix things up and try to keep the quarterback on edge a little bit with some disguising some coverages and those kinds of things, and be able to get an extra player into the box to be able to stop the run. It's very difficult to do, especially as skilled as they are, but you can't lighten the box when you've got a really skilled runner and a terrific offensive line like they do. So our philosophy always has been to stop the run first. We try to pride ourselves on that. We didn't do a very good job of that last week against Boston College. They rushed for 299 yards, and we're going to have to perform better against Troy, or we're probably going to end up with the same result. So I know Coach Woody's been putting together a really good plan. Our guys need to execute it. We need to tackle well, and hopefully we'll execute and perform.
Jeff, how much for the layman like myself, how much does the run defense, the scheme be different than, BC has 2 100-yard rushers last week, but
yes,
so much was driven from the quarterback running the ball, whereas you'll have Troy a more conventional, right, run with the running backs, throw with the quarterbacks. How much different is it defending those two schemes?
I don't know. Having a running quarterback certainly challenges defenses, but there's still gaps to play, and for each gap, there's got to be a defender. You hear about people two-gapping. Sometimes they'll have a defensive lineman that can play two gaps. That's very, very difficult to do. We don't do that. We don't have guys that are capable of doing that. Really, really skilled players. All-American defensive linemen sometimes can play two gaps, but we've got to assign a defender to each gap, and that is designed to stop the run. Doesn't matter how many backs they've got, if the quarterback's running or if it's a running back, it's designed to stop the run, but you got to beat blocks. For each gap that we cover, they've got a blocker to take care of that defender in that gap. So it's a matter of playing blocks, getting off of blocks, and then when you get to the ball carrier, getting him on the ground. One of the things last week that was just really difficult to go back and rehash was how many times we had a chance to tackle the ball carrier and didn't. We missed some tackles, but overall, 299 yards, 157 of those were after first contact. So, credit BC. They did a great job running through some tackles and making us miss, but we got to do a better job of getting them on the ground and finishing those guys off when we got an opportunity.
Next question for Coach Monken.
All right, Coach, this one is from Janet Anderson. She says, how do you prepare differently for a 3:30 kick versus a noon game at home?
Well, the guys get to sleep in a little bit more. We eat another meal in between the morning when they wake up and we kick off. We get a few more walkthroughs and meetings. But other than that, the approach is really the same. I want our guys to be focused on the game. We get them a little rest time between the morning meetings and the time we depart for the stadium. But the approach is the same, and this obviously is different than our typical home games. But we've played 2 night games already this year, and we've had to make those adjustments. So our guys handle it pretty well. They're excited when they wake up to play, and we just try to keep them focused on doing their job and getting ready for the kickoff.
Jeff, how are you health-wise coming into this game?
Better. We got some guys. Every time we play a game, there's guys that get banged up. It's a tough physical sport, and guys are going to get banged up. It's just part of it. But we are getting some guys back, and that's encouraging. There's been some starters, some key players that have been out for a couple of weeks, and just it's good to see those guys starting to get back healthy. How many of them will be back for Saturday? I'm not sure. There's a couple that we're going to do another evaluation on tomorrow to see where they're at, and there's some that they're probably another week or two away. So overall, I'm happy with where our health is comparative to a year ago, and that especially up front. Our offensive and defensive lines are much healthier right now than they were a year ago. So hopefully we'll remain that way, and that'll lead to some victories.
He's Jeff Monken. I'm Rich DeMarco here on This Week in Army Football. Before we go to break, next trivia question. Remember the QR code. Terry Baggett.
Okay.
Set a single game. You see, if you were at the luncheon today,
I know
or
this
if you
one.
follow on social media Army Athletics.
I knew this one before the luncheon, just for the record.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
That was a great one. So, Terry Baggett set the single-game Army rushing record in 2013. Who did he do it against? Terry Baggett, single-game Army rushing record, 2013. It was 304 yards.
That's a lot of yards.
Who did he do it against? Electrifying player, Terry. When he was healthy, and he's gone on to great things in the Army.
Bunch of them.
Just
That's inside trap play they were running. That was he's from the slot position. Bunch of his yards off that. Yeah.
Just break it, and the quick hips. So who did he break it against? So think about it. QR code. Answer it. We'll get to more questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken on This Week in Army Football when we come back here at the Cadet First Class Club right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
At the United States Military Academy, you're on the team from day one.
A team where people are the #1 priority and winning matters.
A team of scholars, athletes, and leaders, each striving to become all that they can be.
Are you ready to join our team?
West Point, where leaders are made.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
October 12th, 2013, Army hosted Eastern Michigan. In one of the greatest performances ever by a Black Knight, Terry Baggett secured his spot in Army football history. The junior set an academy record by rushing for 304 yards in a 50-25 win.
We are in Eastern Michigan territory, and he will score down the right sideline. Terry Baggett, a beautiful 67-yard touchdown run.
Baggett scored 4 times, including a 96-yard scamper in the third quarter, and averaged nearly 17 yards per carry on only 18 attempts. Army actually trailed in the first quarter before outscoring EMU 43-10 over the final 50 minutes. The Black Knights racked up 513 rushing yards with
2 minutes, so we're back. 2 minutes.
Trenton Turrentine, Larry Dixon, and Matt Giaquinta also finding the end zone. But it was Baggett who shined brightest, delivering one of the biggest games in Army football history.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall,
He'll take the chicken fingers.
but with the money you earn from your PenFed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
One minute till we're back. 1 minute. Thirty seconds till we're back. 30. $15 till we're back. Stand by. Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the Cadet First Class Club. This week in Army football, I'd like to thank its restaurant and tavern partners, Brothers Barbecue and O'Toole's Pub. Check out the restaurant and tavern partners portion of GoArmyWestPoint.com for more information. Support those who support the Corps. We'd like to thank everyone watching on Facebook Live. Drop your questions in the comments section. Corey's going to get to as many as she can. Also on YouTube Live. Having a lot of fun here. We got the cadets showing up here on This Week in Army Football. Great crowds the last few weeks, Jeff.
There have been, and now the cadets are rolling in, so it's about to get wild around here.
How about last week, the Army Sports Hall of Fame banquet, 19th class inducted, including former Army football coach Tom Cahill posthumously, and I'll tell you what, spending time with his family on Friday, that is a family so thankful and grateful for what their dad did. A son and a daughter graduated West Point, true West Point life for the Cahills.
No question about it, and I met one of Coach Cahill's sons came and brought his grandson, brought Coach Cahill's grandson, his son, to the football camp one year. And he was talking to me about how he would play up in the woods right there at the Blake house where now I live with my kids. And it's just what a great history, and really special to connect with families like that. Of course, the Daly family that came back a couple years ago when we honored Coach Daly, and so what a great history we've got here.
And you're passing all of them on the wins list.
Well,
Blake family before too long.
Just happy to be here, Rich. Like I said, just getting started.
Just getting started. Jeff Monken. Questions about Army and Troy, 3:30 on Saturday at Mikey Stadium. Corey, back to you.
All right, Coach. This one is from Corey Elich. He said, how about the core last week? How much does the team feed off their enthusiasm, especially in the pouring rain?
They were great last week, and we just really had a great crowd. I think it was a sellout, if not very close. And when there's rain like that, and it was raining, it wasn't just a drizzle. There were times where it was a downpour, and there was still a great crowd out there. But the core was into it. They were yelling, and I think that's the great thing about playing at home. You do feed off of the energy of the crowd and the energy in the stadium, and so it helped us. I wish it could have got us over the top, and it's our job to do that. It's our job to do that and give them something to celebrate. But hopefully they'll be back out there again this Saturday, and we're going to need that core of cadets again.
I'll tell you, a lot of fans braved it, the weather. I mean, I'm dry where I am, so it's hard for me to.
They did. There were times where it was coming down, and I mean, it was pouring. I looked around, and it was still a pretty full stadium, and man, it was awesome to see.
That's great to see. And just, it's so interesting. So many fans, and Jeff, you talked about it last week, a couple weeks ago. There's so many folks who come to one Army football game a year, and that's their memory. And, hey, it might have been raining, but, still just great to spend a day at West Point, especially in the month of October. And on Saturday, homecoming, it's going to be beautiful.
It will be. And like you said, I hope the rain holds off. It'd be nice for the fans and for us too. But if it rains on both teams, and we'll deal with it. As I said, we're the U.S. Army, and as far as I know, they don't cancel any fights in the U.S. Army for the rain, so we'll keep fighting on.
They don't. Tickets on sale for Saturday's game. 877-TIX-ARMY, online, ArmyGameDay.com. Corey, next question for the head coach.
All right, Coach. This one is from Ali Imperati. She said, Coach, with 3 Army players recording 2 touchdown receptions apiece this year, how has the pass game changed the offense?
Oh, I think it's just a byproduct of the offensive system. I knew we would throw it more. By other people's standards, we're probably not throwing it a lot. We're just throwing it a lot more than we have. It's a piece of the system. It's not. There's no desire to say we want to throw it this many times. It's what the defense gives us and what we feel like will help us continue to move the ball down the field. Not entirely different from the philosophy in the past that when we run the football, there's opportunities to throw it, and much of that becomes because of the run game. And so a lot of the passes we're completing, as you saw, there's some play action there where the quarterback is faking the ball to a running back or a receiver, or faking a run himself. We even had a halfback pass against UTSA. So just different ways to get the ball distributed to other players.
How about Tyson Riley? Second touchdown reception for the season. I mean, he's lining up as a tight end. Sometimes he ends up at a wide receiver spot. Very versatile.
He's a very versatile player. In fact, his year at the prep school, he played quarterback, he played running back, played tight end and receiver, but has really settled into that position as an H-back for us. But being in that position and the athlete that he is, it allows us to stay in the same personnel group and be able to split him out as a wide receiver and not have to exchange personnel. It's a guy that could still play running back some this year. He's just a really good football player and a very talented athlete. So I'm really proud of how humble he's been with this position change. To play B-back in the offense a year ago, you're going to get a lot of touches. You're going to carry the ball a lot, and he hasn't touched the ball as much this year as he did in the years past. But just his pride in doing his job really well. He's one of the smartest football players we have. I promise you, he knows every one of those positions where he could possibly line up, and could tell other guys, "Here's what you do. Here's your your assignment. Here's the fundamentals that go along with that. Just a really smart football player.
No doubt about that. Next question for Jeff Monken.
All right, Coach. This one is from Sam Eberly. He said, can you describe the impact the return of Tyrell Robinson had on the team this past weekend?
So having Tyrell Robinson back was just a boost for everybody. Me too. He's a really good player. He's been so productive for us. He's got great energy when he plays. He's tremendous personality. And just to have him out there and on the field with the guys, even just encouraging other guys, but when he gets the ball in his hands and his potential and what he can do with it. So I'm really excited about him. As he plays more, as we go out throughout the season and he gets in better condition to play an entire game, we're going to see more and more of him. So I expect he'll play more on Saturday. As long as physically he's handling it fine and says he's okay, we'll play him more on Saturday and then hopefully more the next Saturday.
Jeff, Isaiah Alston did not play last week. I know he's week to week really as we go on. Your receiving core, we saw a couple catches for Casey Reynolds. We saw Liam Fortner out there. Of course, Noah Short's making plays for you. How do you feel about that receiver group if they have to go another game, let's say, without Isaiah Alston?
That's a solid group of guys. They're skilled. They can catch the ball. They're good route runners. You know, we don't claim to have anybody on our team that's got a rocket strapped to their back and is going to outrun everybody. But you know, they can run and they're fast enough to get themselves open. We've seen that throughout the year. And I'm really proud of the fact that when the ball has come their way, they've caught the ball. We've done a really good job of completing passes when the ball's in the area code. So it's a good group. We'd love to get Isaiah back. You know, his status, it's day to day.
We'll have more questions for Jeff Monken coming up. But first, final question for tonight's show. It's a 5-part question.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
There are currently 5 former Army football cadet athletes in the National Football League.
Okay.
John Radigan, Cole Christensen, Brett Toth, Andre Carter, and Elijah Riley.
Okay.
Can you name the 5 teams they are on? 1 point for each correct team. Remember, scan the QR code below to submit your answer.
Yes, I can answer those.
Ryan, we got some layups this
The
week.
first one,
The first one was very tough.
Yep.
But we're balancing it, right?
Yep.
You need some layups because remember it's the fastest answer.
The Terry
So if
Baggett
it's-
question is that, I mean, that's
That's a good question.
That's not a layup. That's
But if you're right. That's a good question. And the Walt Rittger one wasn't. That was pretty easy.
Yep.
This one's pretty easy.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how the fans do. Again, 4 tickets to Coastal Carolina on the line. So we will get to the answers for our questions coming up in the next segment. One more round of questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken here on This Week in Army Football when we come back right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
When pain wants to keep you on the sidelines, know you have options to keep you doing what you love. As one of the world's leading medical technology companies, Stryker offers innovative foot and ankle products that help you get back in the game and on your feet. Stryker and Army West Point Athletics have joined forces to help you learn more about foot and ankle pain and provide you resources so you can find a specialist in your area. Visit Stryker.com/WestPoint to learn more.
Sure, it's an academy matchup. All right, there's always going to be that little bit to it, but it's 11 guys versus 11 guys. Make them feel you at every moment of the game. What I want to see from you tonight is a group that trusts and respects one another endlessly and that will relentlessly compete irregardless of sport. We show our energy, we show our commitment, and we show what Army Soccer is all about. Good?
Yeah, USAA.
2 minutes till we're back. 2 minutes.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh, no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah. My neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
Well, 1 minute till we're back. 1 minute. Coach Rittger is coming on. Stand by. Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
Last round of questions for Jeff Monken. It's Army and Troy coming up on Saturday, 3:30. Kick time from Mikey Stadium, airtime across the Army Sports Network, 1:30 with the Army Football Tailgate Show. They'll be broadcasting live on Black Knight's Alley outside of Gate 1. The Black Knight Walk, Jeff, do you see the tailgate show going on there sometimes in the Black Knight, or you're just focused on?
I see him over there. I see him
do?
sitting under the tent over there, give him a
Nice.
wave sometimes.
That's great.
It's right after you pass the kettle corn.
Yes.
You can smell that a mile away.
That's kettle corn. Big fan of the kettle corn.
Yeah.
Big fan of the kettle corn. Okay, another couple questions for Coach. We're going to get to the answers to today's questions and send everyone on their way. Corey, what do we got?
All right, Coach, this one is from Daniel Dwyer. He said, Coach, does Army usually have a spy on defense when we play a mobile quarterback?
Sometimes. You can't do that all the time. There are some defenses that you have a spy, but frankly, it's playing the coverage, it's playing gaps, and the spy usually happens in situations where you've got more guys dropping than you got rush, and oftentimes we'll rush 3 guys and drop 8 into coverage. You make yourself vulnerable when the quarterback pulls the ball down and can run the ball. So sometimes there's situations there, and there's others as well. So, I think every defense probably has a call like that in their arsenal. We don't utilize it much, but sometimes.
Thank you for the questions. And the questions tonight, Corey. Great job tonight. It's our last question of the night. I'll tell you, it goes so quickly, the show. I mean, we're almost a
We're
couple
about out
minutes
of time,
away.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to do, for everyone who participated in today's trivia challenge, each week we'll have a new winner, 4 tickets. So keep watching for your chance to win. Okay, Jeff, you've heard all these trivia questions. Now let's give the answers. Okay, Army football plays its games at Blake Field, Mikey Stadium. What year was the field renamed in honor of the legendary Army football coach Earl Red Blake?
What year was it?
1999.
How about that?
We
got another question about 1999.
We do. Walt Rittger played on the Army football team in 1999. Who was the head coach?
Bob Sutton.
Bob Sutton. Hey, I'll tell you what, everything I've heard, I've met Bob Sutton once.
He's a great guy.
Just someone who loves Army football.
Yes, he does.
After leaving here, the Jets, the Chiefs, just always still follow the Black Knights.
Yep.
Terry Baggett set the single-game rushing record in 2013. Who did he do it against?
Eastern Michigan.
EMU. Army won 50-25.
Yep. Had a 94-yarder on that game. That's a heck of a game.
Heck of a game. And Terry, a great guy. One of our favorites. Currently 5 former cadet athletes in the NFL. John Radigan, Cole Christensen, Brett Toth, and Andre Carter, Elijah Riley. Name the 5 teams they are on.
Seahawks, Eagles, Chiefs, Vikings, Steelers.
That's right. Jeff, you got them all.
Yep.
I'll tell you, those guys, each and every week, I look at the box. How about Carter? He got a tackle a couple weeks ago, I think on special teams. So good to see him active. And I've already purchased the Andre Carter jersey.
Nicely done.
For Christmas. Yep. For someone in my family. So there you go. The Andre Carter jersey has been purchased. Jeff, Troy, Saturday, best of luck.
We'll take all the luck we can get, but it's going to take more than that. We're going to have to perform. So hopefully our guys will be up to the challenge. I'm excited about playing.
Great time with you tonight.
You got it.
That's Army head coach Jeff Monken. This broadcast, an exclusive presentation of Army West Point Sports Properties, a property of Learfield, under the broadcasting rights granted by the United States Military Academy at West Point. This broadcast copyrighted. Any rebroadcast, reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of the Academy and Army West Point Sports Properties. The general manager of Army West Point Sports Properties is Steve Tucker. Ryan Panny, our executive producer, doing a great job. Skylar and Jimmy keeping us on the air here. Tony back at the station. We'd like to thank Walt Rittger, just someone who lives the Army football life, joining us here on the show for Corey Younghands, Army head coach Jeff Monken, Rich DeMarco saying so long. Army and Troy coming up Saturday afternoon, 3:30 kick time from Mikey Stadium, airtime across the Army Sports Network at 1:30. Tickets on sale, 877-TIX-ARMY, online at ArmyGameDay.com. Thank you so much for watching and listening to tonight's show. Have a great rest of your Thursday night, everyone.